Hello everybody, welcome to Ageless Rock channel, the channel where megalithic lands can give you a different perspective of big rocks placed in upright position by someone we will never know. Today, we are going to venture into the most remote island of Hawaii. It is so remote and tiny that it is impossible to see anyone would want to live here. But yet, we have structures that seems like a civilization was here. Before we go island hopping, I have to clarify that this Necker Island is the one in Pacific Ocean called Hawaii, and not the one in British Virgin Island in Atlantic Ocean, which is owned by the billionaire Richard Branson. So let's check out this mysterious island called Necker Island. It is so tiny that you cannot even see it on this map. It is just a rock outcrop so tiny in the ocean, even the tip of the yellow pin is too big. It is only approximately 1.2 kilometers long. You can walk around this island and be bored within half a day. But if you have megalithic lands, one day is probably just nice, especially on summer solstice. But this island is very far away from the famous Hawaii Island. It is approximately 1,120 kilometers to the east end of Hawaii Island. The distance from Necker Island to Hawaii Island on sea is like traveling from Seattle to San Francisco. So to say Hawaii is small is not quite right if you include the ocean. But that is not the full scale of Hawaii Islands. The furthest island of Hawaii is Green Island, which is a stretch of 2,500 kilometers of ocean view dotted by small islands. Imagine traveling from Seattle City to Oklahoma City and still in the same state. So, the next time you travel to Hawaii, make sure your destination is the one with lots of hotels. If we are constantly presented with this map as Hawaii, then we might see Hawaii as a bigger state than we used to see in tourism brochure. Hawaii is small in land area but huge at sea. At 28,000 square kilometers or 10,500 square miles, it is comparable to Massachusetts state. Just imagine a few Hawaiian islands pop up in the vastness of the Pacific Ocean. What are the chances that ancient Hawaiians would choose a useless outcrop as a place for monolithic stones as temples? If the sea level during the Ice Age was about 40 meters or 130 feet lower, this entire blue area could have meant a lot more land and Necker Island would have been the highest peak. I think it has to do with a history much older than what we are willing to believe. Before it became part of Hawaii, this rock island was called Moku Manamana by the locals. This tiny piece of rock has no known inhabitants, but yet it has 34 temples known as marae. This is against all archaeological logic, where if you find a temple, you can safely assume there was at least a village. Necker Island was annexed as part of Hawaiian government in 1894 by Captain James King, who was standing on Marae No. 1. It is probably the best testament to the fact that megalithic sites are all over this planet. On this island, archaeologists discovered many small statues called Ti'i. Mainstream will find this very hard to explain why they are here. Even sailing or canoeing 500 kilometers from Kauai Island, which is the nearest big island, will need a reason to do so. I am pretty sure there was a civilization which was able to make use of its position to tap the power of the sun and use it for their advantage. Necker Island is only 23.6 hectares or 58 acres in land size and has a peak of 84 meters or 277 feet high. When Captain James Cook, the first European to discover Hawaii in 1778, he was not aware of Necker Island. It was discovered by merchants trading between Canton and the Pacific Northwest. Kenneth Emory investigated Necker Island in 1924 and noted that the religious structures found in Tahiti resemble more than those in Hawaii. This gave rise to the possibility that those Tahitians or Marquesans were here 1,000 years ago and were not aware of large islands in the south. To imagine that Tahitians crossed the ocean and reached useless Necker Island and made several religious sites without venturing to find bigger islands is equally hard to believe. Emory was careful not to use the word heiau, but instead he used the word marae because that's what they are, flat stone platforms with monoliths. There are also many artifacts found on this island and is noted as archaeological sites. These Hawaiian temples are not just a row of upright rocks. These are monoliths and terraces with no known history. Typically, archaeologists will say terraces are for planting crops, but in this case, no one in their right mind will want to plant crops here, and they are more for worship, so they are called temples. In fact, monoliths and terraces are typical features of a megalithic world. Necker Island is not just a random pick for its significance. It is strategically located at 23 degrees and 34 minutes north latitude. Its strategic location at 23 degrees 34 minutes north is unlikely to be a coincidence because the Cancer Tropic is at 23 degrees 27 minutes north. Another interesting fact about Hawaii Island is that the sun is above the islands during summer solstice. It is here in Hawaii that it was first called Lahaina Noon, which means cruel sun. Lahaina Noon is observed in many parts of the world during summer solstice in the Tropics of Cancer and summer solstice in the Tropic of Capricorn. I am pretty sure this was done by the advanced megalithic civilization for an astronomical reason we will never know. If ancient Hawaiians did this because they were highly advanced, then why were they described as primitive people who already abandoned this site when the Europeans arrived? During summer solstice, these monoliths have no shadows because the sun is directly above them. To say that ancient Hawaiians sailed to Necker Island to raise so many stones in upright position because they knew this island is the perfect choice for monoliths without shadow at noon is more mythical than local myth. During winter solstice, 9 maraes are oriented to witness the rising sun, which means they will also see the setting of the sun during summer solstice. That is a number too high to call it a coincidence, but yet we struggle to understand why they are aligned in such a way. At Site D, you can witness the perfectly aligned marae to the azimuth of the rising sun on December solstice. Site E is aligned to rising sun of equinoxes, while Site J is aligned to azimuth of the rising sun in summer solstice. 3 maraes with astronomical alignment is not a coincidence, but no experts can explain why. Necker Island is located at 23 degrees 34.5 minutes north latitude, but Tropics of Cancer is never fixed. Planet Earth wobbles and moves in ecliptic manner and at a rate of 15 meters or 50 feet every year. According to William Lyler, Tropics of Cancer would have been a near-perfect alignment with Necker Island at 23 degrees 34.1 minutes. So, I can imagine a stick about 6 feet tall that casts a shadow about half-inch long would have been considered inaccurate to the ancient Hawaiians who used this site because 1,000 years ago it would have been totally accurate. Early explorers described Necker Island as an outcrop of a bedrock with no trees. This island is very small compared to Nihoa Island, which is the next nearest island. It is about 3 times bigger than Necker Island but has only 2 mysterious temples. No one knows why the temples has to be so accurately located on June 21st. The locals say this is the day where the body is shadowless. It is called Kala Ila Lolo, which direct translation is the sun is on the brain. It is to mean the hour of triumph, where the sun passes directly over the shadowless worshippers. If there is a preferred choice to build over 30 temples, Nihoa Island would have been the better choice. Cruel summer with no shadow would not be very far off unless primitive inhabitants want perfect shadowless noon once a year on an island that no one can prove they were even there. The upright stones are all basalt rocks with no sign of carvings or shaping by any tools. The selected basalts are from the island and mostly from Shark Bay Beach area, so to drag them up the steep slopes would be a necessary challenge because it looks like having the temples near the beach is not an option. Marais come with several upright stones. There are 16 marais with 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 19 and up to 21 upright stones. The width is larger than the depth and some has smaller width and looks like a square. We have no clue why they are designed this way. There are 7 types of upright stones noted by Imori. The pivots uprights, irregular platform uprights, central uprights, front uprights, right uprights, left uprights, and outside uprights. The marais are well recorded by the curious minds of the West, but no one knows what is going on here. At Marai 12, there are statues that look somewhat like human. They are about 38 centimeters or 15 inches tall on average. Specimen A and B weighs about 10.5 kilos or 23 pounds, while C and D weighs about 6.5 kilos or 14.5 pounds. They certainly look like the Menehune as depicted by the locals and drawings. They are all male and no one has a clue who they are. I'm not even sure how they were made because ancient inhabitants were Stone Age. The original ancient builders certainly had some events carried out here and they certainly relied on 100% direct sunlight, and they must not have shadow. It has to do with creatures such as Menehune who shows up only at night because only at night you will not get shadows. There are many upright stones on top of Necker Island, but there are no local inhabitants here and natives are not aware of the significance of this. No one knows why it is what it is, but I won't be surprised archaeologists will just praise the locals for being highly advanced for 1,000 years. Well, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this short presentation on Marais of Necker Island. See you in the next video and have a wonderful day. This is Berniong signing out. Awuyo aloha.